So what's a shelf corporation? Hi, this is the Business Guy here to talk to you about the mysterious world of shelf corporations. Now you might be wondering, what in the world is a shelf corporation, which also applies to shelf LLCs for that matter? Well, allow me to explain. A shelf corporation, also an aged corporation or vintage corporation, is a pre-existing dormant corporation that's been formed but hasn't really done anything yet. It's just sitting there on the shelf waiting for a handsome prince to come along, dust it off, and wake it from its slumber. Kind of like that box of old t-shirts in your garage you keep telling yourself you'll eventually turn into a quilt. But let's be real, that's never going to happen. But what I hope happens is that you click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Anyway, back to shelf corporations. There are a few reasons why somebody might choose one of those bad boys instead of starting a new corporation from scratch. One reason is to establish a longer business history. When you start a new corporation, it's like a newborn baby. It's fresh and new, but it's kind of poopy because it doesn't have any years under its belt. But with a shelf corporation, you can instantly have a business that's been around for a while. And this can be helpful when it comes to things like getting loans or contracts, because lenders and clients often prefer to work with companies that have been around for a while. And you list all of your relevant experience, even if that experience is just pretending to be a CEO of your imaginary consulting firm. In reality, though, the law calls a corporation a person, an artificial person. And just like a person, it has an age, a corporation's filing date. If a 10-year-old boy goes into a 40-year coma and then he wakes up, he's not still 10. He's a grown 50-year-old man. It's just like a corporation or LLC. It's not activity that gives it age, it's the filing date. J.P. Morgan Chase was filed in 1799. DuPont Chemical started in 1802. Colgate started in 1806. The original owners of those corporations are all dead and gone. These companies have gone through financial ups and downs. Some old corporations have gone out of business for a while, only to come back stronger than before. And though the owners have changed, this corporate longevity gives great credibility to its customers. Another reason somebody might choose to use a shelf corporation is it may help when applying for contracts. Some businesses or agencies want to engage in contracts with companies that are less than 2 years old, for example. So buy a company that's 2 years old or older, and you instantly bypass that requirement, and you can get contracts that you couldn't otherwise. In addition, an aged shelf corporation or LLC may make it easier for you to obtain business financing. Most lenders or investors don't want to loan or invest money with a company that was just formed yesterday. We do recommend that you use full disclosure as to when you acquired the company, but sometimes the rules are set by people in the ivory towers that the people on the ground must follow, and a shelf company may allow those decision makers to check the box so you can get the funding you needed. And as you know, when you incorporate a business, it creates legal separation between the business and its owners. This can help shield your personal assets from creditors or legal action taken against the business. It's like a shield of armor protecting your net worth from all the dragons and trolls out there trying to attack it. Setting up a new company last minute is a little bit like when you're trying to impress a girl and you casually mention that you have a lot of money, even though it's really just a few dollars and a partially used gift card from Chili's. Now, it's important to note that there are some potential risks associated with using a shelf corporation. One risk is that the corporation may have pre-existing liabilities or legal issues that you're not aware of. It's kind of like when you're buying a used car and you don't do a thorough inspection. That's why it's important to thoroughly research and do due diligence before you decide to use a shelf corporation. You want to be sure that any shelf corporation you're considering is a viable option for your business. There are a few different ways to obtain a shelf corporation, and the fastest way is just to purchase one that's already been formed and put on the shelf. There are companies like ours that specialize in selling shelf corporations. Our organization forms most of our own companies and put them on the shelf to age. Thus, such companies do not have the inherent risk because they have never conducted business. So make sure that you do your research and only work with reputable companies. It's like when you're shopping for a used car, you don't want to buy from a sketchy dealership with a guy who's constantly sweating and shifty-eyed. In conclusion, a shelf corporation can be a useful tool for businesses that want to establish a longer history, more credibility with customers and lenders, and easier to get contracts and better protect personal assets from lawsuits. Just make sure you do your research and due diligence before you decide to use one. That's all for now. As always, stay safe, stay smart, click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time. This is the Business Guy.